first time I heard about the campaign was when I came to the church. At the time, I took part in many campaigns, but it was for something I'd say small things. So as the time went by, I learned about the campaign. I heard many different testimonies. I realised that I was going to ask for something a lot bigger than what I'd asked for in the past. Even though I'd seen results from them, I wanted something more, more worthy of a campaign. So I took part in the campaign and I was very specific with what I wanted. I said that by the time I was 18, I wanted to have my own car, to be living in my own property, and to have a job that gave me a certain salary. So as the campaign was coming, I took part in it. I gave my all, my salary. I was raising funds by doing other things. I was also fasting, so I was doing my spiritual part as well. I was sleeping on the floor. I just did everything that I could do to kind of show God that I was ready to give a proper sacrifice. And then time was ticking, so my 18th birthday was slowly approaching, and I realised that time's gonna go by. Then my 19th birthday started to approach, and I started to get a bit anxious. So just before I turned, I think it was 19, just before I turned 19, a situation happened in my house, and to cut a long story short, I was given a week to find somewhere to go because it just wasn't helping my faith. So that was the situation I was placed in, and I was getting a bit scared because I was thinking, what am I going to do? But then I remembered my campaign, and I remembered that I gave my all, and that God said so many different things in the Bible, and He can't lie. If I did my part, then He has to do His part also. So I trusted, and in that week, I think it was the third day of the week, it was a Tuesday, Wednesday, I got a phone call, and a property that I wanted for a long time because it was in my family. I was told that I could live there for the first 2 weeks free of charge. Then after that, I have to start getting myself a job that will be able to pay for it and for me to support myself. So as you know, when you're given like a short period of time to kind of support yourself or be kind of out on your own back, you do something. So within those 2 weeks, I found a job that paid me more than the salary that I suggested in my campaign, and I got a car for my birthday. So everything that I asked for, I received by the time I was 19, before I was 19. And even though I didn't have a license, even though the job was to be work in a estate agency, so dealing with solicitors, writing up contracts, I had no qualifications for any of it, but God honoured my sacrifice.
Hello, a very good evening and welcome to Finding Answers. Before we speak about today's topic, let me just remind you that tomorrow we will have a very, very special program here. And we will be talking about spiritual attacks. Actually, not only talking about that, but we will have here 3 people that suffered with spiritual attacks but are today free. Today they are free. Now, when you say, perhaps you say, look, what do you mean by spiritual attacks? Now, you that have been going through it, you know exactly what I mean. But if you don't, here are some symptoms of what spiritual attacks are. And some symptoms are people who see things, who hear voices, who feel a presence around them, people who go to sleep and wake up with bruises and cuts all over their bodies, people who feel like they're being raped. That's right, you heard me well. And actually one of the people that will be here tomorrow will be explaining exactly this. Now, this is not a dream. This is not you who had a dream that someone was raping you. This is someone in a state of being awakened and feeling something physically, doing that to them, and having all the symptoms of someone doing that to them, but they can't see anyone there. If you know of someone who has experienced or who is experiencing and suffering with experiences like this, then please let them know that tomorrow in this special program about spiritual attacks, they should tune in, they should watch, because it will be helpful and also unmissable. And of course, if you are suffering with symptoms like these yourself, then of course this will be essential for you, because you will find out how to be free from this. Now, there are many other symptoms of spiritual attacks. What I just told you are some, and the show tomorrow will be very graphic, so I have to tell you that already from now so that you can prepare yourself. And if you do know someone who has gone or is going through something like this, please get them to tune in to tomorrow's show. Now, tonight we're talking about Wonder Women. Now, imagine you being married and your husband pointing a loaded gun with the safety off to your head. You're married and your husband, who vowed to love you, points a loaded gun to your head. Good evening, Esther.
Good evening.
What does that bring to your mind?
Terrified, instantly terrified, scared, threatened, want to run away, run a mile.
Do you know anyone that's gone through that?
No, I don't.
I do. And that person is sitting here in the studio with us tonight, and she'll be telling us her story. Now, there are many women that have done amazing things, right?
Yeah, plenty.
Any examples?
Angelina Jolie's pretty good. She's a good ambassador for peace and for children's rights. We've got Roosevelt, who was a very forward-thinking woman. Today we're just celebrating, really, women. I mean, obviously, we're celebrating men and everybody all of the time, but tonight is especially dedicated to some really tough, strong women,
Right.
like our testimony here tonight.
Exactly, because she went through some things that would have broken many women. And not only that, but that man who pointed that loaded gun to her and threatened to kill her is now a very different man. Their story is amazing. Unfortunately, he's not here with us tonight, but he will be sharing, she will be sharing her story. Now, if you are at this moment going through an abusive relationship, if you've been through abuse, and there's no excuse for anyone who is going through abuse to accept that. There's no excuse for anyone to abuse another person, whether it's a man abusing a woman. And by the way, there are women who abuse men. How come we don't hear about that much? Because I think usually men are embarrassed to say, I'm being abused, whether mentally, verbally, or even physically by a woman. I don't know are you familiar with any case like that?
I think some have come out in the press, and I think there was some controversy because people don't take it as seriously, because they're like, well, you were hit by a girl, so what? When really that's not fair, and abuse is abuse. So I think it does happen, and I think it's just, like you said, people don't come forward because there's an element of shame, or it's very demasculating for men. So yeah, we need to shine light on that, really.
And I did speak to someone a couple of years back who said, my wife physically hits me. The thing is, you would have thought, look, come on, he's a man, he can defend himself, and he can, but the thing is, he does have principles that he doesn't hit back to a woman, and the woman, knowing that, takes advantage of him. So although we are celebrating women and the lot of the many things they go through and they overcome, there's also the other side of the coin sometimes. Yeah,
tonight isn't about women are better than men, or let's remind ourselves how great women are. Tonight is just focusing slightly on the women that we have that are really tough and strong. Michelle Obama, we've got lots of other examples. So really it's just for that. But of course, abuse goes on both sides.
Absolutely. And if you are watching us now and you say, look, James, I am going through a very, very difficult situation right now. And usually people who go through abuse, they find it difficult to open to people that they know, because they are afraid that that problem will be then brought back to their partners. Sometimes they find it easier to speak to someone who is not really connected to the family. And I want you to know that you can talk to us. You don't have to speak to us on air. You can talk to our team of pastors about what you're going through right now. Whether it's abuse, whether it's that you feel your life has become a failure, whether it is that you have an amazing story that maybe you want to share. Maybe you are a 2014 Wonder Woman and you want to share your story. And there are women like this out there. There are women that have overcome terrible adversity and they have amazing stories, and we would even love to hear from them, whether by email or if they call us.
Definitely send us an email, or just let us know something good, or if you know somebody good that's maybe a woman, a friend of yours has brought up a whole family as a single parent, or went through abuse, or maybe she's just a very kind-hearted soul. Just let us know. We want to hear from you, so that would be great.
Absolutely. So if you are going through something right now that you you say, look, I don't consider myself as a Wonder Woman at all, because right now I feel that everything is caving in on me and I don't know what to do. I feel everything but apart from being a Wonder Woman, and I really need help. And if you are in this situation, then do get in contact with us. Don't go anywhere, because the story that you will hear here tonight is indeed amazing. If you want to contact us, the number to call is 020-7686-6300, 020-7686-6300, or send us an email to help@findinganswers.tv. We're going to go into a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking to this amazing woman who is here with us, and we'll hear her story, how she overcame adversity. We'll be right back.
Happy Sunday, everyone.
Single.
Everyone, practice.
No.
That was
his wife.
Bizarre character, you know.
Very good. It was very good. I really liked
5 last week. So yeah, I went to it back. I didn't
Which is
realise.
ironic.
I know who it is. Oh.
When we want to reach our goals, we research, act, and make sure we know everything there is to know about that topic. We study hard because that is the intelligent thing to do. This is the same for our development as a Christian. The Faith School is designed for those who want a degree in spiritual growth, those who want to separate time to study the Holy Bible and follow God's path for their life. There is no admissions fee, and it's suitable for every level of learner. You will learn how to interpret the Word of God for your daily life and become stronger internally. Do you want to find inner peace and spiritual strength? Then this course is for you. The Faith School, every Wednesday at your local UCKG Help Centre. For more information, call 020-7686-6000 or visit our website uckg.org.
So, maybe you're thinking about making some big changes or setting some ambitious goals for yourself. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds or read through the Bible. Maybe you want to run a marathon or repair a broken relationship. Whatever your big goal is, the temptation is to expect to go straight from here to here, or from here to here. The reality is, there are a lot of small steps between big decisions and big results. Challenges and obstacles await. At some point, you might even want to quit. But stand firm. Don't be disappointed with slow progress. Don't be overwhelmed by the destination. Rather, focus on what you can do today. Skip dessert. Read a chapter. Go for a run. Make a phone call. The more difficult the journey, the more rewarding the destination. And it can all start today with just one small step.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Finding Answers. Now today we're showing profiles of some really tough women, some good women out there. Just a little story. Michelle Obama, when she was first asked out on a date by her husband, who's now the president of America, actually said no because she thought it was inappropriate. Quite like that. So have a little look at this video. This is some speeches made by some women of our time.
If we want to give all of our children a foundation for their dreams and opportunities worthy of their promise, if we want to give them that sense of limitless possibility, that belief that here in America there is always something better out there if you're willing to work for it, then we must work like never before.
To those waiting with bated breath for that favorite media catchphrase, the U-turn, I have only one thing to say. U-turn if you want to. The ladies not for turning.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Each of us must truly be a woman in the world. We need to be as fearless as the women whose stories you have applauded, as committed as the dissidents and activists you have heard from, as audacious as those who start movements for peace when all seems lost. Together, I do believe it is part of the American mission to ensure that people everywhere, women and men alike, finally have the opportunity to live up to their own God-given potential.
You know, usually they say that men are stronger than women, and physically, in some cases, that may be so. However, women are exceptionally strong emotionally, and they have the capacity to go through very, very hard moments, which some men would quit halfway through. So today, we are here not only to celebrate, but to help you that are going through a hard moment like this, a difficult moment like this. In fact, I want to introduce you to Apollonia, who will be sharing her story in just a moment.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Welcome back. So I'm here with Apollonia. Good evening, Apollonia. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So you are the woman whose husband pointed a loaded gun to her.
Yes, I am.
It wasn't an empty gun, a loaded gun.
Yes.
First of all, try to explain to us why your husband had this violent behavior. Where did that come from?
Up to today, I will not be able to tell you exactly what triggered his anger. It can be anything, and very much unpredictable. He sees different picture of people. You know, I see you as you. I listen to you, what you are talking about, and take it that way. But he always got a different, or he used to have a different interpretation of everything he sees, everything he hears.
But I was thinking just before I started speaking to you, because I know that your husband was, is it right to say that he was a freedom fighter for?
Yes, he was.
Okay, so he saw, and he told me once that he saw a lot of people dying.
Well,
right?
he have killed himself.
He killed a lot of people because of, he was a freedom fighter for which country?
For Namibia.
For Namibia?
Yes.
So what I was thinking, you know, when the war was over, he got married to you. Do you think he still had flashbacks of what he saw? Do you think maybe that left a violent streak in him, or you don't think that was the case?
Well, now that I understand how, you know, a bit of how human brain works, and what can affect us and what we can carry with us, in a long run, I understood or understand that my husband actually needed some sort of help. After he have finished with the army, so that he can be integrated back into the community. But that did not happen. So he lived according to what he knew, the way how they trained him. That's exactly what he brought into our marriage.
But the beginning of your marriage wasn't like that, right?
No.
How was the beginning of your marriage?
Well, it was normal. At the beginning, he was just like any other broke, if I can say. Loving, caring, romantic, till he started manifesting his real behavior after a year.
How long did that romance and that peace last for?
Well, between 8 and 9 months.
Only that?
Yes. Then after that, I started noticing some strange behavior repeating itself. And no matter what I try to do to calm him down or to assure him that what he is seeing is not what is happening, he wouldn't just understand.
When was the first time that he was violent towards you?
I was expecting our first daughter. Because first he just used to sort of like question me, and because it was at the beginning, I was patient enough to sort of like answer his questions. Whatever question he asked me, I would answer. Then it came to a point where that time I was expecting. I think we have been married for 2 years now at that time, and we went out, and he wanted to put me in a cab to go home and stay behind with his friends. Then I said, no, we have to go home. We argue a little bit. Then he saw that I'm serious. Then he said, okay, fine, let's go. Okay, I thought everything was fine. We got in the cab, we got home. He actually, the way how he spoke to me that day, it was like speaking to a child who has misbehaved. Then he took his belt, and he started hitting me.
And you were pregnant?
Yes.
How many months pregnant were you?
I was 6 months, going to 7.
So you were almost 7 months pregnant?
Yes.
Because of a petty disagreement, your husband takes out a belt and beats you. Forgive me to ask you this, but how bad was that?
It was bad because you see the belt, the buckle of the belt? He folded the belt, then he held it in the middle. Then he was hitting me with a part of the buckle. So you can only imagine what that buckle, when it hits you, is an iron. What is going to leave there? Definitely takes off my skin. And he was beating me on my back.
Now, after that, you didn't say, I need to get out of this relationship, or?
No, I actually blamed myself. You
blamed yourself?
Yes. I thought maybe I was not an obedient wife. I was supposed to behave, I ought to know better.
Did you think that he hit you that time, but he would never hit you again?
Yeah, I thought if I did not repeat the same behavior, then it won't happen again.
How soon after that did it happen again?
Again, just after a year, it happened again, and I was still pregnant again.
So again, when you were pregnant, so at that point, he wasn't really worried about your welfare?
No.
Or the welfare of the baby that was growing inside you?
Well, maybe he was worried, but it's kind of funny. He's worried in his own way, because if he was worried in a normal way, he wouldn't do that at that time.
Tell us about the moment or the day that he pointed that loaded gun at you.
He used to go out very often with his friends. I remember he had a friend who used to come and knock at the door of our bedroom and call him, or come and accompany me, I'm going somewhere. Let me say around 10 in the night. I confronted that of his friend and I told him, I said, look, there's only one wife in this family, or in this marriage, and that's me. And imagine, I was brave enough to face that friend of his, and I was not brave enough to face him. And the friend, back off. He never repeated the same action anymore. But now it was him who goes. And when it's winter in Namibia, it's really cold, that dry, cold, windy. And for me to wake up 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning to open for him, it was not easy. And I got to go to work the next day. But again, he had a habit of, I have to keep his food warm. That I knew it already. He doesn't need to repeat it. So that day he went out. Actually, he went out since when he went to work, he never came back home. So I knew already, once it hit 8 o'clock, I know he will be home earliest is 12, 1. Okay, he came, and when he came, he parked the car. I had the car because I was reading. I never sleep till he come back. So I did tell him that if you plan to go out till late, please take your key. We had 3 sets of keys, one for the maid, one for him, one for me. But he made it a point that he's not going to take that key. So he left the key, he went. And when he came back that time, I was reading, I had a car, and I had him knocking, but actually he did not even knock for a long time. The maid went to open for him. He came, and he started shouting at the lady. He slapped her.
He slapped the lady?
Yes, and it was his sister actually.
The maid was his sister and he slapped her?
Yes, he slapped her. Then he stormed in her bedroom, and he grabbed the book that I was reading, threw it across the room, and he asked me who wrote that book and if that person was more important than him. I mean, they were like questions, pam, pam, pam. Then you can't defend, you can't answer. I just look at him. Then I think that made him angry. He punched me.
He punched you?
Yeah, he punched me, between my eyes, on the bridge of my nose, somewhere there. Then I started bleeding straight away. As if that was not enough, he walked across the room. He went to the wardrobe. Then he took out the gun. I'm sure he had a gun on him, but I don't know why he did not take the one he had, because he had 2 guns. And he never drive without a gun. But he went to get the one in the wardrobe. He got it, took it out of safety, and he put it on my head. And he said, do you know that I can kill you? And killing you is nothing.
How did you feel at that moment?
I felt that he was bluffing. I don't know why. I had that confidence.
He had just punched you in the nose. You were bleeding, and you still felt that
I was holding myself, actually. And no, I felt he was bluffing.
Okay, you're going to tell us about the rest of your story after the break, but I want to I want to put out an invitation here right now to you, woman, that is going through what this woman here, this lady here went through, because she's the husband that you are now imagining in your mind, the man you are imagining in your mind right now is a monster. The thing is, you haven't met her husband now, and he is the most calm, right, gentle man that you'll ever meet. And this is not a change of a flash in the pan. He's been a different man for how long now?
He has been a different man for 12 years now.
12 years.
Yes.
Completely different man. You would never imagine that he did something like this. But maybe you are going through this here right now, what she explained to you. Maybe just as bad as her. Physical abuse, maybe not physical, but mental abuse, because sometimes mental abuse leaves deeper scars than the physical one. And you are desperate for help. Maybe you feel like you can't turn to anyone because no one will listen to you. Maybe you feel like Apollonia said in the beginning, that it is your fault. I don't know why you would think it's your fault, but maybe you do. If you are in this situation, give us a call, speak to our team here, because they will pray for you, they will help you, they will encourage you, because the same way out that Apollonia found for her life, for her marriage, you can find as well. You're going to listen to the rest of her amazing story when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
How does a person gain control of themselves again? Let us help you. What would you do if you had to protect a great treasure? If the answer is obvious when it comes to material wealth, it should be even more obvious when the treasure is greater: your marriage. In Bulletproof Marriage, the couple Renato and Cristiane Cardoso offer solid guidance to those who appreciate the value of their relationship and want to shield it against the risk of divorce. Besides their years of counselling thousands of couples, Renato and Cristiane present the hugely successful TV show The Love School, as well as marriage courses around the world. In over 2 decades, they have lived in 3 countries and have given hundreds of talks in more than 30 countries. Speaking from their long and sometimes troubled marriage experience, the couple offer practical tips to protect current and future relationships. To order your book online or for more information on the Love School event 2014, visit our site, theloveschoolevent.com. This event was brought to you by the UCKG Help Centre.
People normally think that there's no greater influence as powerful as Hollywood, but I beg to differ, because Godlywood is really making its mark in the world. Now, for those of you that don't know, Godlywood is an initiative aiming to lead women of all ages to become exemplary women of God. We teach women how to make a positive impact in their own lives and their families through monthly tasks and meetings. And one of the great things about Godlywood as well is that we also learn to be giving, so we go out and help our communities. And one of the ways we do that in the UK through regular visits to elderly homes to pamper them and to keep them company. We also have regular events to help abused women, and we have many more plans to help our community. I ended up overcoming lots of insecurities and bad habits, and I've grown so much, and one of the things that I finally beat was the shyness that I had, and I'm doing things that I never ever imagined that I would be doing. And we have many more plans to help our community. So to summarise everything, Godlywood really changes lives, and I'm so privileged to be a part of it.
Welcome back. Now, Apollonia, people were listening to your story, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people who are going through very, very similar situations. Mm-hmm. If not, I don't know if it could be a worse situation. Perhaps there is a worse situation than the one you were going through. But at what point did you come to the church? I mean, did he come to the church before you? Was it him? Was it you? How did it work?
It was me. I found the City News. It's a newspaper of the church, mm-hmm. and there was a lot of stories of life life, people who have changed their life through prayers, through the help that they got from the church. And I still loved my husband despite of what he had put me through. That's quite, funny or unusual to some people. They would think that I want to put, a distance between me and him as long as I'm alive.
Actually, that would have been quite normal, right? If you would have wanted to get rid of this person, that would have been quite normal.
Yes.
Actually, the normal thing to do. But you came to the church. Did you come because of him? Did you come because you had other problems?
I came because of him. I wanted to give another chance to my marriage. I felt that we deserve another chance because one of it, I never completely blamed him. I felt that maybe I let him down somehow. I did not help him enough. Yeah.
But that wasn't the case.
No.
Even if that was the case, it wouldn't have given him the excuse to do what he did, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But you came to the church, you started to, what did you do? Did you pray for him?
When I got the paper, because in those days, I would never dare to leave the house alone. Even if I'm going to shopping, I will have to make sure that I keep all the receipts. And I will have to make sure that I know which receipt is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4.
So he can track where you were.
So he can track the time where I was. If there's any gap between those receipts, I will have to be accountable for that time where I was. So I was sort of like compelled to invite him. Then he started accusing me. Maybe there's a man there who I've been seeing and all that. Now I'm inviting him because I'm ashamed, I don't want to go alone, all that. Nevertheless, it never put me down. I just say, well, or put me off. I just say, okay, let's go so that you can go and see that man. So we came. But when we came, I was scared again. I could not tell the truth because he was there. And for him, he could not tell the truth because he was so proud. My husband was so proud. He felt that everybody, they got their own problem. Why should we wash our dirty laundry in the public? So he felt that anyone who give help, actually they are worse than us. So he saw no need for anyone to intervene.
Was there a time that he sought for help, that he humbled himself and sought for help?
Not until
there in the church?
No, not until that time. No, even we continue coming.
But when you say until that time, which time?
Well, not until we came to the church, even not until I left him halfway.
So you came to the church with him, praying for him, but then there was a point you left him.
I left him because, we were not doing things in the right way. For me, I was praying for him to disappear or to go mad and just
leave you alone.
Leave me alone. Because I felt that this was the last result or the last place where we can get help, but things got worse.
So, but it was when you left him,
yeah,
and I remember that time because I was there. It was when you left him that he said, "Now I need help."
Yes,
because now that's it.
Which he did not do promptly. He was actually contemplating to follow me, get a gun, kill me, and come back. Or if he did not get the opportunity to come back, he would kill himself.
What changed then? What changed him?
Well, he spoke to somebody, and that day actually he said it all the way how it is.
So he opened up. He said, "I am like this. I'm this monster."
Yes. He said, "My wife have left me." Then the pastor asked him why she left you. And then I think he was sort of like trying to paint a better picture. Then I think the pastor questioned him, and he just spit out everything. They said, "Okay, look, you can't expect her to come back of all what you have put her through. You need to work in yourself so that when she comes back, you are ready for her. Because if she comes back today, you are still the same person. It's not going to work." So
and by the way, I was there on that day, and it wasn't really like that. It was a lot tougher than that. I remember till today. You weren't there on that day, right? Because you had left. But I remember that day very well. And we're running out of time. What I want you to do, Apollonia, is I want you to do two things. First of all, I want you to describe, since your husband changed, which is around, 12 years, I want you to describe how your marriage has been for these past 12 years.
Well, our marriage now is built on trust. We trust each other, we understand each other, because we discovered that there was no trust. My husband loves me very much. Although he did love me before, this is different. He loved me and he respects me and he cares for me. We do things together. Yes, we have our little problems, but we do sort them out. He have never raised his hand to me for the past 12 years.
Okay, but you know, for example, there's a difference between a person not raising their hand and there's a difference between a person becoming a different person. And that's what I want people to understand, because, for example, I know you and I've known him for, since you started in the church, I've known him in this different person that he is. And it's not just that he doesn't raise his hands to you, he's become a different person.
Yeah,
right?
He's very
how would you describe him now compared to how he was before? How is he now?
Well, now I can describe him as a calm person, very peaceful. He do what he say, and he's not judgmental, because he used to be very judgmental. He's just really peaceful. He has changed so much that at the beginning I could not believe it. It was too good to be true. You know, from the man I knew and to the man I know now, it's quite different.
So it's been too good to be true for 12 years?
Yes.
And do you see him as that angry person?
No.
Not anymore?
No. Because he used to have this angry face. He used to have a vein, you know, just
on his forehead.
On his forehead. And if you see that vein, definitely
you run.
You run.
My wife has that vein, but it's not because she gets angry. And she's probably watching me now. She has that vein when she's very stressed out. Not angry, it's different. And the second thing I wanted to say is the following. If you are right now watching and you are in an abusive relationship, we're not telling you here that you should sit there and wait until you come to church and that person comes to church with you and he changes. We're not saying that. Actually, if you are in an abusive relationship, the most important and immediate thing to do is for you to find safety, for you to be safe. That's the most important thing, regardless of what will happen in the future. Because you could very well not be with him right now, right? Yeah. And there are people, I'm not saying to you that everyone who came to the church in an abusive relationship, that today they're still together, because I'd be lying to you. Actually, chances are that when people come to the church in an abusive relationship, most times they move on. But they find healing for the wounds they had from that previous relationship. They become ready for a relationship where they will be happy. But in your case, as in some other cases that we have in the church, the person that was with you is no longer the same person. That person has changed.
Yeah. The most thing that is helpful is that the person, you know, the abuser or the, you know, he or she have to be willing for a change.
And also, you are now working with women who've been abused.
Yes.
Right? Your life has changed so much that now you offer help, you offer advice, you offer support.
Yeah.
That's the work that you're doing right now.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so you are a Wonder Woman. You're a Wonder Woman because you've been through a lot, but you've become, you know, you have this amazing story of overcoming adversity. So thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're going to go to a quick break. We don't have a lot of time left. When we come back, I'll be here with Pastor Alvaro. And by the way, we'll be speaking to you about the campaign of Israel. We actually got an email from the campaign, which, Esther, do you have the email there with you? I'd like Esther to read the email just before we go to the break. And when we come back, Pastor Alvaro can answer the email. So please, Esther, could you read it?
Yep, this email's from Carla Marina, and she says, "Dear Pastor, I am in the spirit of the campaign of all campaigns. However, for the past 2 weeks, I've let fear stop me from building my sacrifice. It's the fear of what if it doesn't work, etc. But today I made the decision that I should not let this fear get in the way of my sacrifice. But I am confused, lost, and I feel like giving up. But Pastor, inside of me, something is telling me not to give up now. I don't want to give up, but I just want to know what to do. I wasted 2 weeks being fearful. I just have over a week left. I don't even know where to begin. Please help me what to do.
Well, you don't have over a week left, you have under a week, but Pastor Avlo will be replying to your email just after this very short break. Production team, please, very, very short break. 1 minute maximum. We'll be right back.
If you're a single mother suffering from a troubled past, then don't lose hope. There's always someone you can turn to. We understand. With all the challenges of everyday life, the financial responsibility, and the pressure of being a single parent, life can be overwhelming at times. Single parents and their children can flourish, but without the right support, a family can fall apart. The Tamar Group is there for lone parents who need guidance, support, and encouragement to get them through their everyday battles. Whether it's a group discussion, a mother and child bonding session, or some personal advice, we are here for you. Everyone needs a helping hand at one point or another. Let us be yours. For more information on our meetings and where the nearest Tamar Group is to you, then visit our website uckg.org/Tamar or give us a call on 020 7686 6000.
So Carla, I'm going to answer your email now. You know that these campaigns, they require a lot from us, especially courage. And obviously, fear, it's normal. James, and everyone who is watching. When you are about to do something extraordinary, that feeling comes. It tries to sink in. And I'll say something to you that many people may think, well, how can this be? I'll say to you, if you are afraid, that's a good sign. I'm not saying that you should keep it there. We're going to overcome this. But if you're afraid, it means that you're about to do a sacrifice, not something ordinary. So what do you have to do, Carla? What does Jesus say? Because for you to overcome this feeling, you have to replace it with the Word of God. Pay close attention. Jesus says like this, do not worry about tomorrow. Don't worry. The problem of many people is that they worry. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to make ends meet? When instead they should say, God is going to provide. God is going to do what He promised. So take this word right now. Afterwards you can even read in the book of Matthew, read the whole chapter. But replace now these feelings with this word. Grab this word and say, you know what? I am not going to worry anymore. I'm not going to let the fear of tomorrow to affect me. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to sacrifice because I know God is going to bring into existence what doesn't exist. The extraordinary is going to happen in my life.
And Alvaro, fear always is right before you do something amazing. Mm-hmm. I remember when I climbed Ben Nevis, and you've climbed Ben Nevis as well.
Let's not talk about it.
When we climbed Ben Nevis, the first time I wasn't afraid because I didn't know what was expecting me. The second time, it wasn't as hard, but I was more, I wouldn't say afraid, but I was, my gosh, I know what I'm going to go through. Yeah. But then once you do it, it's like this fear melts away and you are left with this, this feeling of success. Exactly. I did it. And sacrifices like this, when you're about to sacrifice, I know it's a challenge, it's difficult. Yeah. There's that little fear there. But I read a very interesting quote today that said, whether you're afraid or not, go ahead anyway.
Yes, exactly. Fear is normal, it's going to come.
It's a part of life.
Part of life, but we have to face it. And as I said, let's grab the word. Because that's, in moments of fear, the word of God will give us the strength we need.
Yeah, and Alvaro, I just want to make a point before we pray. It's very important. Listen, if you're watching me now and you say, James, I was born in a certain religion and I'm a very nice person, I'm a very good person, I help old ladies cross the street and help them with their shopping. I'm a very, very good person. So God must bless me. No. 1,000 times no. Because if you do all those things, you are doing your duty as a human being. I don't have to believe in God, Alvaro, to see you struggling and help you. That is a duty.
Exactly.
God doesn't bless you because you are a good person, because you grew up as a Christian.
Charitable works.
Or charitable works. That means nothing. God blesses you because of your faith. If being good meant something, the prostitute that came to Jesus would not have been received or heard, yet she was accepted, not because she was good, she was a prostitute, but she was accepted because of her faith. And sacrifice is that faith materialized. Don't think that because you're nice, you're good, that means you're going to be heard, because that's not how it works. The Bible doesn't say that. The Bible says that when we use our faith, when we use our faith to sacrifice, then He answers.
And see, as we said recently, God is a God of reaction.
Reward.
Reward. You see, many people think that, they have to wait for God to do what they have to do themselves. That's why they are, suffering, and they are even confused. Many atheists, and maybe there is an atheist watching us now who is a former Christian. And maybe he became an atheist because he waited and waited and waited, and he did good works, charitable works, and he thought, now God is going to answer me. When God didn't do it. Because God doesn't answer, people because of good works. As you said, God answers when people use their faith. And we do that when we show our sacrifice to Him.
And that's why the Bible says that the kingdom of God is taken by force. You have to take the kingdom of God, the blessings of God, forcefully. Forcefully. Please, Alvaro, come here. Let's get a wide shot here. Imagine this. Alvaro is a little bit taller than me. Just a little bit, not too much. A little bit, right? We know each other for many years. But he's just a little bit taller than me. If I want to take hold of my blessing, I have to take it from Him. Metaphorically speaking, that's how it is. Your sacrifices, this is a fight. Of course, if I were to fight you, I would be a little bit intimidated because you're a little bit taller.
You're my brother, would let you just...
Of course. But, in life, Alvaro, that's how it is.
That's right.
You can't think that the blessings will drop on your lap because you believe in God or because you're a good person. You have to take possession of them. You have to go there and fight for them. And the strongest one wins. The strongest one wins. James, but I'm good. I've always helped people. I've always gone to church. That's not how it works. If you look at the Word of God, it's by force. And what greater by force than the sacrifice?
Exactly. So the opportunity is now. You are watching us. We're going to have a campaign on the month of July, actually this month, right, on the 13th.
We have less than a week.
Less than a week. And this is the envelope here. If you didn't take yours yet, so as you can see here, you can, call us now. You will say, I want a change. I want to see the extraordinary in my life. Maybe you are fed up because of abuse, because of, violence. Maybe you're trying to solve problems using your hands when God is showing you now the solution. And it's through sacrifice. By sacrificing, you can see a change. So the number you can call if you don't have the envelope yet, it's 0207 686 6300. 0207 686 6300. There will be a pastor there, James, yes?
Absolutely.
Who will explain more in details how you can participate, join this extraordinary campaign.
And the great thing about what we just said, about God not answering because you're good or because you do good things, is that you could be a man like Apollonia's husband. You could be a wife beater. You could be a criminal. You could be a prostitute. You could be a drug addict, drug dealer, who's responsible to damaging the lives of thousands of people because of the drugs you sold. You could be all that. But the power of faith puts you on even pegging, level pegging with me, with Him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because the people that came to God were these people. The wife beaters, the prostitutes, the thieves. These were the people that came to Him. And they weren't answered because they were good. They were answered because they believed.
Exactly.
They believed that they could take possession of their blessing.
They show their faith, and that's what we want people to do in order to see results.
That's it. So this call that we are making here for you to contact us right now it goes out not to the church goers. If you go to a church, then God bless you. This call is not for you. I imagine you're good there already, unless you are not. But this call out goes for the people we just mentioned. Forgive me for the words I'm going to use, but this call out goes for those who consider themselves, you know, I wouldn't say the scum of the earth, because that's a very, very strong word to use, but you feel like that. Maybe you don't say, but you feel like this. You feel because you've made so many mistakes. This word goes out to the people that feel desperate, that feel that they don't have anyone there for them anymore. Those who feel they are alone, that they've made terrible mistakes. Faith puts you on the same level than anybody else. Everyone is the same before His eyes when we exercise our faith. Unfortunately, we've ran out of time. We won't even have time for the prayer. But if you do need the envelope for the campaign, like we said, give us a call, send us an email, because we'll try to send this envelope to you immediately, first thing in the morning, so you have enough time to prepare for the greatest campaign of all. It's been a pleasure to be with you here. Until tomorrow, have a wonderful night. May God bless you.